Hello everyone, welcome to my review for Starfield, one of the most hyped games of 2023. So before getting into it, I just want to say I'm not an Xbox or a PlayStation fanboy. I'm just a PC gamer. I don't own any console or have a preference on any one of them. If the game is available on PC and it interests me, I will try it out without any bias. I just want to put it out there before going into the review. Anyway, regardless of my opinion, it seems like Starfield was a W for Xbox, which they definitely needed after disasters like Redfall. I also think this is a good news because it's better to have more competition in this rather than one always being at the top. More competition is always better for everyone. So with all of that out of the way, let's get into the review. Starfield was a miss for me. There were some elements that worked really well that provided me with good enjoyment, but there were also a good number of elements that didn't work very well, which affected my enjoyment negatively. So at the end, overall, it ended up being a mixed experience for me. So now let's focus on the game in detail. So one of the highlights for me in an RPG is its main story. Here the main story and quests are not that great. It's not bad, it's alright. Most of them were very basic and repetitive. I think this is the weakest quest line in the entire game. Usually it's the main mission that opens up the world and gets us invested to the world. And after we get invested to the world, we end up getting sidetracked with the quest lines, doing side activities. So in Starfield 2, I started by doing the main quest, and I was doing the main story for like the first 10 hours with a little bit of exploration, and overall it was really boring. Nothing interesting happened to get me invested in the world. So I decided to stop playing the main quest and picked a random side quest to do, just to see how it is. And that side quest I did was way better, more elaborate, well designed, engaging than all of the main quests I did in my 10 hours. So it actually took me 12 hours to finally get a good designed, enjoyable, interesting quest. This affected my overall playthrough. The faction quest and the side quests were like the best part of Starfield. It got me way more interested in this world than any of the main story quests. And all of the quests here was different and interesting, instead of just collecting rocks or finding temples. That was like the majority of main quests. There were also some side quests with some really good decision making opportunities. It was surprising because the main story only had like 2 main choices. An RPG with choices, here it's just 2 main choices, choose A or B, that's it. Compared to that, these side stories with better decisions or like more interesting decisions was a surprise. All I want to say is the side quests and the faction quests were infinitely better than the main quest. Now I want to focus on the traversal system. Usually in most open world games, there is means of traveling other than just fast travel. We have a choice there. You can go using the normal traveling system, or you can teleport using the fast travel. So depending on our preference or the convenience, we end up relying on both throughout our playthrough. But here we don't have that choice. Space traveling is just loading screen and teleportation. That's how you travel from planet to planet. Just to be clear, I don't have a problem with the method. It's just this is the only viable way to do it in the game. And this is a game that gives us 1,000 planets to explore, but it can only be explored in such a constrained way. That to me was disappointing. It makes me wonder, do we even need ships in the game? I know there's ship battles and customizations. The ship battles are not bad, they're simple and enough fun to be included in the game, but it is not the strongest or the best part of the game. Like that, the ship customization is exceptional, the possibilities and freedom are vast. Things people have come up with without any additional mods, just with what the game provided, was really good. But for me, my investment to the ship was too low due to the fast travel system. Like whether I get on my ship or travel through the menu, it's still the same, you just fast travel, that's the only option. So after we use this fast travel system for the space travel, and when we reach a planet, there lies another problem, especially on the low gravity planets. We only have the option to travel by foot. Just to be clear, I'm not saying travel by foot is the problem. Like if the planets were richly filled with enough distractions in our path, like many good open worlds, then traveling by foot, it's not a problem. Like in Zelda and Elden Ring, I mainly did travel by foot than using a horse. But here they're going for a more realistic approach. So most of the planets are just empty planets. I don't have a problem with that because I feel like that's the vision they were going with. So I don't want them to change that. But this made the lack of vehicles more significant. That's the problem I have. The planets can be barren, but a lack of system to make it less boring is definitely needed. A mod could fix it in the future, but I also heard that the game engine has problem with fast moving objects. But I still feel like the modding community is gonna improve the game so much in the future. For me, the game was beautiful. The different cities, the ambience, the culture, the vegetation, the animals, the scenery on different planets, all of it looked beautiful. Also, like the ships, their interiors, the guns, the resources, all of this also had great detail. The graphics are not the most impressive or like next gen, but I don't have a problem with that. As long as a game looks good, has style in its visual, I'm satisfied. Like compare Redfall and Starfield. Both doesn't have the most impressive graphics, but Redfall feels bland and dull. On the other hand, Starfield for the most part can look beautiful. And I said it looks good for the most part because there is one thing that doesn't look good and feels outdated. It is the character animation, especially the facial animations. They feel outdated. We got beautiful cities, all that fits the settings and can immerse us well in this world. But the people living there doesn't feel alive at all. They break my immersion whenever they're on my screen. It's just people walking, doesn't interact with anything we do. I'm not asking too much, just more believable reactions. Like if a person shoots, at least show some fear. These are small things that can make the world more alive. And Starfield being a game where talking to a character is one of the most prominent things you do, it again feels outdated, especially for a AAA next-gen game. I expected better facial animations. The voice acting is really good, at least on all the important characters, but the facial animation doesn't do it justice at all. Don't take this as me saying I need this in every game. No, but this definitely can make a game better, and especially if it's this type of game. Like games like Witcher 3, Cyberpunk, where they use this type of storytelling. Like done mainly through characters seeing eye to eye, where along with the dialogue, their emotions can also be visually shown. So Starfield fails in doing that. I just wish they did a better job here. This could have improved my experience a whole lot.
The effort to make this place livable is astounding.
Industrial chemicals of
There's
every
no
kind.
end what can be accomplished.
But they still
when there
can't
are
get rid of the
credits to
odor
be
of
made.
Casimbass.
So now let's talk about the gunplay. This is without any doubt the best part of the game. I was really surprised on how much it has improved after that first gameplay trailer. Every type of gun feels different. That is the main thing I love. The only thing I wish was different was there be less variety in ammo. Except for that, the gunplay is just so satisfying. And since it's an open world RPG, I did try to explore. I was not just speed running through the game, but exploration was often not that rewarding for me. You get loot, that's there. I'm talking about the other elements that were missing. Like, random events, caves or hidden areas. I was expecting more. So, like I said before, the gunplay is really good, but regardless, the game is easy. Even on hard difficulty, it's not a big problem. It would have been nice if it had more challenge for sure, but I'm okay with it. It also has a problem where if I play on normal, the guns feel like guns. They do some damage. But if you play on hard, instead of the enemies getting better, like more aggressive, killing us more easily, they just get more health. So it's basically you spend more bullets than before, that's all. You're still not gonna die that easily on harder difficulties. That also reminds me, getting encumbered also happens so frequent, at least in the early games. So now, let's look at the performance and the bugs. In Starfield, I had some funny ones, immersion breaking ones, but I ended up being okay with it, not being annoyed with it, because I expected it to be way more broken at launch. At the end of the day, I'm happy I didn't face any game breaking ones. The performance is also not that great, but that's the norm these days, so no surprise there. But from my experience, it's not the worst optimized game of 2023. There were many other games that were way more poorly optimized than this one. So this ends up feeling alright performance-wise. So, that's all I can think of. Let's just give it a rating. So I'm gonna give Starfield a 6 out of 10. Not completely boring, has some good elements, but not enough to make it a memorable experience for me. I think the game could have been better for me with an engaging main story, better character animations, going small scale, 10 fleshed out planets than the entire galaxy. Again, it's what I felt. If you like it or hate it, you're free to do so. This is just my opinion. Also, I think the game is going to be significantly better in the future. The mod support is there. Already there are some good mods. So I think the game will be awesome in the future. It's just the release version didn't do wonders for me. That's all. Again, this is what I felt about the game. Okay, this is my experience. I'm just being honest. Hope you all have a good time. If you like this, give a like and subscribe.